Hello Bucket. In this video I will give you feedback to your summary from last week. So let's start. Your first sentence is good. You've included basically the ideas. You've included the title, the name of the speaker. Fine. The only thing I would add here, try to make the first sentence more argumentative. Remember how we keep saying that the first main idea should be stated in an argumentative way. So what can you say to make it sound argumentative? Something like the speaker claims that, the speaker argues that, and then how would you follow that up? How would you finish the sentence? Argues that there are important rules to follow if we want to be successful, such as, and then you can enumerate, manage your time better, find your calling, all these things, right? But you do need to make the first sentence more argumentative. Okay, after that, he claims that people have very high standards for their life. Okay. But he claims that if you have a job that makes you happy, that's great. Now, I'm not sure how these two sentences are connected. Why but? How does that sentence fit within the whole paragraph? I'm not very sure. People have very high standards of their life and work. Okay. But how does that connect to all the advice he gives to successful entrepreneurs? I'm not very sure. He claims that if you have a job that makes you happy, that's great because few people can achieve it. Again, this is not. I know he says these things, but in our summary we just focus on the important points, and the important points are clearly these ones, right? Manage your time, find your calling, be resourceful, all these things that you've mentioned. So the whole summary should focus on those. And any other idea that's not related, even though he says it, we don't include those in the summary. Now here, you're doing a good job of this one. He suggests finding your passion because it will be, that's very good, right? So when you talk about passion, that's what he talks about, right? Find your calling, as you call it here, right? In addition, he stated every person to have a dream. So a lot of this, it's about the passion, your dream, right? This part, which basically relates to having a dream, right? So find your calling, have a dream. You have discussed that in this section here. Okay, that's fine. Then he mentioned that in the life of every person there will be a fall. Okay, and this is good because we'll learn to rise, sure. So that relates maybe to this part, right? You have to learn the hard way, learn from your mistakes. Okay, fine. In the end, he claims that he wants to create an infrastructure. Yeah, again, I would say that does not relate to these things, right? The spaceship, his own personal vision. I mean, you could talk about having a big vision, sure, but not necessarily mention the spaceship because it doesn't really relate. So I would say focus on that part on those ideas which you have summarized here in the first sentence. And that would be this part, right? And instead of these sentences which don't seem related, you should try and substitute them with supporting ideas that he mentions. So I think the best way to write the summary is start with a very clear outline. Main idea. This is very good. Your main idea, you've said it very well. Supporting idea. 1. Manage your time. 2. Find your calling. Supporting idea. 3. Be resourceful. All of these. Separate them and then write your summary out of that. And then you will see how you will not need to include unnecessary information or information that's not related. Do you see? Now in the conclusion, remember we talk about the conclusion as a summary of the whole paragraph. If you go and look at the rubric, you will see that the conclusion has to talk about the whole lecture, the whole video. And here, the spaceship is just one idea that Bezos mentions, right? So your concluding sentence should summarize the whole paragraph. So I could say, in conclusion, a successful entrepreneur or successful person will follow these important rules, blah, 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 something like that, you see? All these things that you talked about in the paragraph. You have to summarize them in the concluding sentence, okay? So again, it's very important to start with an outline, with a very clear outline of all the supporting ideas, and then write the summary based on that, so that you do not end up writing things which, even though the speaker mentions them, these are not really part of the summary, right? Because they just don't relate to these rules here, to these tips, to the advice that he gives, okay? But overall your style is quite good. You have used a lot of reporting verbs. You have used a lot of linking phrases. So that's good. Your writing is clear. I can understand what is going on. So I would just recommend stay very, very focused. Write a short plan of the supporting ideas and just stick to those. Okay? So good luck. From now on, I will be giving you feedback on your evidence paragraph.